66 executed by the clone troopers was one of the most brutal moments in the entire history of the Jedi, as the clones turned on the Jedi in an instant, in canon because of a secret chip that had been planted within their minds, and in Legends continuity out of pure loyalty to their Supreme Chancellor. The clone troopers had actually been secretly bred to take out and kill the Jedi, and while there were many factors that contributed with the success of the clone troopers during the dreaded Order 66 and the eradication of the Jedi Order, before the first clone was ever bred by the Kaminoans, the Sith Lords Darth Sidious and Tyrannus, also known as Count Dooku, had devised a devious plan to select a prime clone, or clone subject, able to contend with a Jedi. The Sith purposefully swept the galaxy in search of a warrior with the specific skill set to kill Jedi Knights. While the clones would primarily be trained as warriors and foot soldiers, the Sith Lords behind the clone army would always know what they were capable of. To test which clone subject was able to do this, Dooku rounded up the finest bounty hunters in the known galaxy for a test to determine their skills against a Force user. Eventually, the cloning template of Jango Fett would be selected, after Jango Fett took down the rogue Dark Jedi Kamori Vosa. Before his death, Jango was even responsible for training the first batch of clone troopers, as this perhaps explained why some of the first clones were the best fighters, such as Commander Cody and Commander Rex. To the clone troopers, they simply thought they were being bred for combat, while in secret, Jango Fett was specifically training them how to kill and take down a Jedi. But this does not mean that when the time came for Order 66, that every single clone trooper turned on their Jedi comrade. There was in fact a group and a batch of elite clone troopers that did not turn on the Jedi once Order 66 was given. And today we will explore the grave consequences that they endured after refusing to follow Order 66. Although the clone troopers of the Grand Army of the Republic were some of the greatest and highly trained soldiers in the history of the galaxy, there were a select few clone troopers that rose above their brothers as truly elite tacticians, assassins, and warriors. These clone troopers were known as Clone Commandos. Clone Commandos were handpicked by Mandalorian trainers to become these commandos, as to become a commando denoted a clone trooper as one of the greatest fighters the Grand Army of the Republic had at their disposal. It was a great honor. These commandos operated extremely close to the Jedi of the Republic, as together they formed a dangerous and highly effective team. A clone commando squadron was viewed as the enemy as the same level as a Jedi Knight, and the same threat level. The commandos were the best of the best. After working hand in hand with the Jedi for years during the Clone Wars, a bond was formed between the two groups, deeper and more significant than with any other clone squadron. This bond was so significant, in fact, when Order 66 was given, many of these clone commandos outright refused to kill the Jedi, as they perceived them as literal family. A massive disappointment to the Sith of the time, obviously, as they had expected the commandos to take out more Jedi than any other squadron, and to be the most effective Jedi killers perhaps the galaxy had ever seen. Shockingly though, out of the rate of all of the clone troopers that refused to obey Order 66, the clone commandos were the highest, something that the Sith had not perceived beforehand. One specific squad, known as Ion Team, refused to kill the Jedi Roan Shrine, as they had formed a strong friendship with the Jedi Master. This was so significant that it reached the ears of the most high-ranking individual in the entire Empire, Emperor Palpatine himself, and because of its importance, he sent Lord Vader personally to investigate the incident, and to discover exactly why the commandos had not killed this Jedi. This mission was especially important to Palpatine as he perceived it as a weakness among his greatest soldiers, and while he may not have batted an eye if a regular clone trooper refused to obey the order, the commandos refusing was concerning. When Vader arrived, the commandos claimed that they believed that the message had been faked by the droid army, but Vader explained that they would have received word that all of the Jedi were being eliminated across the galaxy after the initial order was given, and learned that the order was not specific to the Jedi Roan Shrine under their command. Vader then went on to explain that he knew full well that the clone troopers were lying to him about the order, and that they knew for a fact that Order 66 had been legitimate. Vader also revealed that he held information that the commandos had aided the Jedi after the order was given, and drew another squad lot of clone troopers away from the Jedi. Vader explained that the fate of the commandos had been sealed, and that he was simply here to investigate exactly why, not for the clone troopers to ever leave this meeting. For their crimes, Vader executed 2 of the commandos, but the other 2 members were able to escape into a nearby forest, breaking free from their clone brothers. Vader then ordered the clone troopers under his direct command to hunt them down, but not to kill them, as he was more concerned with the surviving Jedi, and believed that the commandos could potentially lead him to this Jedi. He also revealed, though, that it was not Palpatine's intention to actually kill these commandos, as it was his own, as Palpatine wanted them to be studied by the Empire and discover exactly what caused them to disobey Order 66, as to prevent this in the future. Unfortunately, the commandos were eventually hunted down by their own brothers, and were thrown in prison, with Vader desiring to torture them to death for their crimes, but Palpatine insisting and refusing it, as he wanted it known exactly why the clones had disobeyed him and never wanted it to happen again. As for the rest of the clone commandos outside of Ion Team, many others also disobeyed Order 66, but Ion Team was the one that was focused on directly by Palpatine and Vader. What is most compelling is Vader cared little for their fate, in a way holding a very deep hatred for them for betraying the Republic, just as he believed the Jedi had as well. Palpatine, on the other hand, was far more curious than his apprentice, wanting to learn exactly what had drawn these clone commandos to disobey his direct order, then dispose of them. Unfortunately for us, the final fate of the 2 surviving members of Ion Team is unknown, but we do know they were taken to a specialized Imperial prison to be experimented on, and likely died sometime later, as Vader wanted them all executed, as they were never heard from again following their imprisonment. Although it had been previously unknown to Lord Vader, it was later revealed that the Kaminoans had actually experimented further with the clone commandos, and that this had been the reason why they were able to disobey Order 66, as their genetic template had been changed, and they were allowed more free will and free thinking than a normal clone trooper, again something that Vader and even Palpatine had been previously unaware of. Unlike the ARC troopers, the Republic commandos would be more loyal and susceptible to following orders without question. However, as this worked in the disadvantage, they would still retain greater ability for independent thought than the standard clone troopers. They were able to think on their feet more so than a normal clone was, and again because of their loyalty formed a much deeper connection with the Jedi than an average clone did. Thus the mystery why Ion Team was able to disobey Order 66 was revealed. However, unfortunately this did not change their fate, although they were successful in allowing Roan Shrine to escape, and to plague the Empire for years to follow, with him carrying on the legacy of Ion Team. But what are your own personal thoughts on this, and why and how Ion Team was able to disobey Order 66, as well as what are your thoughts and viewpoints on the 2 differing aspects of both Vader and Palpatine, and how Palpatine wanted this to be investigated, and to learn exactly how these clones were able to disobey, while on the other hand you have an individual like Vader who little cared, and just wanted them exterminated. Again guys, don't forget to check out the Star Wars merch page at the top of the link in the description down below if you're interested in anything. And as always, may the Force be with you, and have a great day.